In this video, we're going to create a surface from survey triangles. From this, you'll learn three main things: how to import files into Civil 3D, how to create a surface, and finally, how to add a simple boundary to your surface. We'll start with opening a new drawing. Always check to make sure you're using the right template. I'm using a template specific to Australia and New Zealand, but what we're learning today is general and can be applied anywhere, no matter what country kit you're using. Now, we said we were going to import files, and you'll see this under the Insert tab. There are a number of options for what kind of files you can import, such as land XML and point files if you do your own surveys at your firm. The triangles I have are already in a DWG file, so what I'm going to do is insert it into the drawing as a block. So instead of going into the import panel here, I'm going to go into the block panel in the same ribbon. I'm going to click the big insert button here and pick blocks from libraries in the drop-down. So in the window here, there are two sections. So at the top, it'll show you previous blocks you've used before. And down here, there's a section for options. Now, before we do anything, we want to uncheck everything down here in the options section, except for explode. And we want to make sure the insertion point is unchecked because we don't want to alter any of our coordinates. Our triangles need to be in precisely the right place. Now back up at the top of the window, there's this bar, and there's a little icon with a blue arrow. Click that and navigate to the file where your triangles are. It's probably really small on your screen right now, which is why you can't see anything. So we're going to type ZE in our command line. Hit enter. These are our triangles. Now we're going to check that they're exploded. So what you do is you hover over one of the triangles and only one of them should light up. If the whole thing lights up, that means that your triangles aren't properly exploded. If you have this issue, select your surface, then right-click, and then you type explode in your command and hit enter. This should explode all of your triangles. Now that we have imported our triangles, we're ready to start using it to build our surface. Head over into the tool space on the left here, and we want to be in the Prospector tab. Expand surfaces. Note that there's nothing in here yet. So we want to right-click surfaces and then select Create Surface. It's always good practice to fill in these with as much detail as you can. I'm going to call it EG. For description, we'll put in existing ground. For style, choose any triangulation style you please. I'm going to choose ANZ Triangulation Cyan because it's bright and easy to see. I advise you to use a similarly colorful one as well. You'll notice that nothing has actually happened on screen. The only change is in the surfaces branch we expanded earlier. Note that your EG surface is listed here. Expand that and also expand definition. Definition is where we input data to build and modify our surface. For us, we want it to recognize those triangles we imported earlier. So under definition, right-click Drawing Objects and click Add. Because we have triangles, we want 3D faces as our object type. Make sure Maintain Edges is checked. As always, we fill in the description. Triangles surveyed by John Doe, day, month, and year. Hit OK. Now we select all our triangles. I'm going to use a crossing box, so I'll click once on the bottom right and once in the top left, making sure that all my triangles are enclosed. Hit Enter. If you were keen-eyed, you'd notice that some extra triangles were added onto the edges of our surface. To see them more clearly, we'll change the display order. Select your surface, right-click, and send to back under display order. Now we can see our extra triangles clearly. This is why I suggested you use a colorful triangulation style. So now we can see all of the extra triangles lit up on the edges. Extra triangles happen where the survey area scoops in. So we need something to tell Civil 3D that these triangles don't exist. To do that, the best way is with a destructive boundary. First, we'll draw our boundary as a polyline. Type PL in your command line and hit Enter. The goal here is to make sure our boundary crosses over triangles we don't want. Make sure you don't cross over triangles you want to keep. I'm going to make an intentional mistake here to show you why this method is ideal later on. When you're ready, hit C to close your polyline. We're going to head back into the prospector, and under Definition, we have a Boundaries option. Right-click on that and click Add. We're going to name our boundary Outer Boundary, and under Type, we'll select Outer. Make sure that it is set to be a destructive boundary. So we want to uncheck this since we want to destroy the triangles that we don't want. Then hit OK to apply your boundary. Then select your line. Now I'll demonstrate the advantage of using boundaries. Over here, I've mistakenly cut out a good chunk of my surface. So that it's easier to see, I'll select one triangle, and then select Similar, and change the display order so that we can see our surface clearly. Now we see where we've mistakenly cut out a large portion of our existing triangles. I'm going to pull up the boundary so that it brings back my triangles. Then I'm going to send the surface to the back again so that I can see where my extras are. See this exclamation mark? That means in the dynamic link, your surface is now out of date because the boundary has been edited. To make sure your surface is rebuilt to be up to date, we're going to right-click and then click Rebuild Out-of-Date Items. Now I'm going to change the vertices and use my grip edits to bring back what's there and cut out what doesn't need to be there, such as these ones at the top. I can grip edit my boundary at any time, and I can also add vertices wherever I please. Notice that it remains dynamically linked with my surface. That's the key advantage here. You can grip edit your boundary at any point, and it would always be dynamically linked to your surface. And finally, I rebuild my surface again to make sure it's up to date. I select one of my triangles, select Similar to grab all of them, And once again, change the display order and send them to the back. Finally, we want to check to make sure our surface is okay. Select your surface, right-click, then head into Object Viewer. Anytime you make a surface, it's good to check it in there. And there we have it, our finished surface from Surveyor's Triangles. This is a small snippet of our fundamentals training. If you're interested in the full content, definitely reach out to us at VinZero for the full training course. Thank you for listening, and I hope you have a great day.